Hey, everybody, welcome to Matt Men, your source for all things professional wrestling. I'm Andrew Zare, and I'm joined by the beast from the East, Rich Stambolian.
Ooh, bam, bam. What's going on, Andrew?
What's going on, Rich?
Not much. Just
You were
hanging
supposed
in
to
there.
be here today.
I know. It's okay. You got a lot of stuff going on.
Oh, dude, it's hell on earth in my house. We are, I had that bathroom leak. I got the oldest construction happening, and we decided that we're going to paint the house. So the whole house is getting painted and new moldings, and we're doing wainscoting across the house. It's a whole thing. We got like a whole team here. I'm in paint hell, but it's good. It's going to come out excellent. So we're not in studio today. Not in studio, but we have the whole team here. Jonathan is here. MG is here. Actually, he's not. He just left as soon as we start the show. You know what's funny? He was sitting here from 10 o'clock on. I could see him because he connects. He's just staring at the screen violently. And then as soon as we start the show, he's out the door.
Where does he go? Because he does that every episode. Like, does he forget that he left the stove on? Like, is he forget he left the door open?
Dude, this guy,
the car running.
This guy caused a great travesty here in New York. Stephen Guy's been digging for so long. We got tunnels now in Brooklyn. It wasn't the Hasidic Jews building the tunnels, guys. It was MG. He's been digging for years. Been digging his way here. Oh, man, I made a wrong turn. Guys, the show's all about professional wrestling and everything else that we do. He said he has to run off and do something. All good. I will take over the show while we're doing this. Rich, what have you been up to this week?
I'm recuperating. Apparently, I had a case of bronchitis. So I'm still on the mend. Last Friday, I sucked it up like hardcore to be in studio.
Yeah.
And just oozed all over the place for like the last week. I'm almost better. Like, I worked out today. It wasn't great, but, let's talk about that wrestling.
Let's go. You want to go into the news?
Yeah, apparently this is very interesting, which it makes me hate the internet even more. That so much emphasis is put on Tony Khan's wild Tuesday night of tweeting.
Oh, boy.
Tweeting up a storm. He was tweeting Wrestle Kingdom. He's tweeting on Tuesday night, responding to a tweet made, or an X. Is it an X or a tweet?
It's an X.
It's an X. He responded to an X made by the USA Network account about a cage match rating because he referenced them during the last media scrum. Then commented on Jinder Mahal getting a title shot and not having won a match in over a year. I'm going to preface this by saying, like, this is a big who cares for us.
Yeah.
But it made everybody so effing mad. And, like, all these folks come out of the woodwork just to attack the guy.
I don't get it.
Andrew, your thoughts?
I was attacked this weekend, as you know.
Oh, my God, yeah.
By mental cases. You know what? I have to tell you, like, I know that, listen, I know people are sick, right? And they're only getting worse.
Yeah.
People's mental health is declining more and more. We have created this echo chamber of just negativity. Everybody wants to be negative. God forbid I said something about Mercedes Mone in any possible light.
Sheepers. And
these fucking lunatics started giving death threats. Just attacking me, and I'm like, here's the thing, I don't really give a shit, okay? I really don't. One guy, I tweeted, this was hysterical, on Wednesday, I was like, are we getting a new AEW championship? New AEW champion, something like that, tonight, or something like that. He's like, title? Yeah, new AEW world title tonight? And the guy's like, it's a belt. Did you see that fucking lunatic? You millennials and Gen Zers are eliminating history and Bob, and like he just went on, and I'm like, oh, this guy's a head case. This guy is unwell.
I think it always goes back to what we've said since we started the show. You don't know who's on the other side of this. It could be a 10-year-old or a 90-year-old. Like, this could just be like a really incensed 14-year-old person who's like, F you, Andrew.
No. It was an older guy, because he kept saying, oh, you see, you millennials.
Oh, okay. There we go. You're going to be 40 in like 2 months.
I'm going to be 40. So, like, I guess I'm an older millennial, but like, I also work like 70 fucking hours a week.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, I was going to use a naughty word that I'm not allowed to use anymore.
We did use a naughty word.
I was going to use a different one that we're not allowed to say. I don't think people realize that Rich and I are real fucking lunatics. Okay?
Yeah.
This is not like we're nice on the internet. We're very nice on the internet. This is us on best behavior. Go in real life and say the shit that you say.
Oh, forget it.
One guy came over when we were at World's End. You had gone to the bathroom. He came over. He's like, oh, I just saw Rich out there. I just wanted to, he's like, I thought he'd be back. I just wanted to say hello. He's like, I just started listening to you guys. You guys are crazy. I was like, you don't even know.
That's funny.
You guys don't even know. But Tony tweeted, and obviously, there are, and I don't understand that. There is a segment of this wrestling population that genuinely hates the guy. Hates him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, you know what? Here's the deal. You're not going to love everybody that you meet in life. Some people are just whatever. You could be an acquaintance. You could, not everything you like about the person. Why are people so aggressive?
Think about it this way. Because this is the weird reality bending simulation time that we're living in. None of these people would ever say this shit to your face, right?
No, never.
Imagine if you're standing online at the post office and then somebody 5 people behind you is like, "Yo, Andrew, it's called a belt, not
I'll knock him out." No, I'll knock him out.
What are you gonna do?
No, I'm gonna knock him out.
I feel like your initial reaction would be like, "Who said that? Like, what are you talking about?"
Yeah, if half the stuff that's said to me in real life, if it was, I would be in prison. I would be in jail.
Right. Yeah, you'd go nuts.
Jess and I play a game when we're driving. It's like I'll get enraged, and she constantly goes, "You're always one day away from being arrested for choking somebody." Yeah. I'm always one day away, and I work very hard to not be that person. I've come a very long way in life. Mm-hmm. But occasionally the rage builds up. The rage in the cage.
Gotta let it out somehow.
I gotta let it out. And then I just normally let it out on MG and I just yell at him.
Yeah. After the show, it's usually, we'll do an hour of the show and then it's just a conference call of us listening to Andrew berate MG.
Yeah. I also think part of the problem is that Tony engages with these people. And like I'm proud of my timeline on Twitter, on X, because I have selected the people that I want to see. I don't follow anyone that I don't really care for their thoughts. Okay? Exactly. I don't. I don't know why anybody would follow somebody and just to argue with them. I think for Tony, Tony's timeline is so messed up and the messages he probably gets are enraging him. But he also, I think, knows what he's doing, and he does this because it gets people talking, and it creates a conversation, and I think he kind of likes it. Remember, he's from the forum days. He was a big forum guy.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think happened on those forums? It was constant argument and debate about nonsense.
He's been around.
I really don't care.
Also, you need a thick skin. You need a thick skin to be on the internet.
Mm-hmm. Eric Bischoff, Bully Ray, and others responded, causing Tony to have more of a meltdown than he was. That Eric stuff, you know what's unbelievable? Like, I don't know why Eric dislikes Tony so much. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it has to do with the fact that he's doing he's continuing the legacy that Eric had started on that channel. With having a primetime wrestling show, and maybe there's a little bit of that. I also think Eric, I've engaged with him a couple times, and it's always been pleasant. I have no problem with Eric.
Right.
I think people are like, how are you, like I did their show. I did the show with Alba and Bischoff, and I got so many messages like, how can you go on with Eric? I'm like, listen, I always want to learn, right? And it doesn't matter if you have the contrarian opinion of mine.
Right.
I still want to hear you out because obviously you've experienced something that I've never experienced before. So I want to hear you, even if it's negative or positive or I don't agree with it. I want to hear it. He was also great to me. So I go based on how people treat me. Unless you're like a total, terrible human being, then it doesn't matter. But I think people get so worked up over this. Who cares?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I've gotten so turned off by all of this. I really have the last 2 weeks. Like, the whole discourse online, that I almost was like, you know what? Do I need to tweet anything anymore? Why can't I just say it on the show and call it a day like I used to do?
I have a theory that all those folks online who come after every single person that we know, right, is one group of like maybe like 3 guys and a bunch of like burners and bots.
I think a lot of them are burners for sure. I had one guy. He goes, I literally posted a little teaser to the fact that they're having a Suicide Squad match. I don't even know what the hell that means, but they're having that next week, and I posted that on Twitter. And the guy's like, "Oh, typical for Zarian not to ruin AEW, spoil anything for AEW, but if it's WWE, he'll spoil it." I'm like,
what?
It's actually been the opposite. I have spoiled way too much for AEW and nothing for WWE in the last year. So I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm like, these people are nutty. They build an opinion of you and then they go based on it, even though it's complete fabrication in their brain.
It's not even a good character that they're building either.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
WWE hires former ESPN executive Lee Fitting as head of media and production. This is Kevin Dunn's replacement.
Yeah. How fitting. I don't know much about him. But obviously we've seen changes to the TV. I watched Raw 2 weeks in a row live.
Not bad.
Not bad. I thought that
Not
Punk
bad.
and Drew business was great. You know, it's fresh. There's something refreshing about it. Is it still very long? Is there still a ton of filler? Yeah. But I feel like that'll always be the case with that show. It's a 3-hour show, and that's what it's going to be. But we'll see what happens. I'm curious to see where his direction goes. What else do we have?
We got Kosha Irby. What's up? What's up, Jonathan?
The Lee Fitting hire. He also was removed from ESPN because of this whole Emmy situation. He was named as one of the high contributors into that. So maybe a lot of Emmys for WWE.
What Emmy situation?
So a report came out last night from the New York Post that ESPN was submitting fake names to get more Emmys for their talent.
That's great.
And Lee Fitting was named as one of the key people allegedly.
That's great.
In that whole situation, and now he's ineligible for punishment from whatever the standard is there because of going to WWE.
I mean, they're gimmicking the Emmys. you know.
You know what? That works on his behalf because imagine if he's sitting in that WWE office and they're like, "Hey, Lee, we need 45 fake names. Just run them off. We got to name some of these talents down in NXT."
Tits McGurk. Tits McGurk.
These are Turtle
Molly
Macaroon.
Molly Handlewood. James Yakimoff. Those would be my NXT names. I don't know if they would pass standard in practice. I don't know if they would work. What else do we have, Rich?
Kosha Irby has been hired as AEW's chief operating officer. He was also formerly with WWE. You mentioned this on the show, I believe, over the last 2 weeks, where, yes, listen, if you want to grow as a company, you need to start hiring real executives, right?
Yeah. And that's exactly what they're doing here. This is going to be a story of the year of restructuring the corporate side of things into less of a startup and more of a complete operation. He comes very highly recommended. He was part of regional promotions for WWE. He's more of a marketing guy, marketing and promotions. So I don't know if the COO position, if there's going to be anything more to that, because since Tony is so hands-on with the business end of stuff. So I'm curious to see what his day-to-day is going to look like. But he's a marketing guy. He's done. He worked for the bull riding. What is it? The bull riding league, whatever it's called, PBL, or I forgot what it's called. And then he worked for some regional sports teams. He's not like a big time executive from ESPN, but he does have some really good spots on his resume, and I'm hoping that he does really well over there.
Yeah, only time will tell.
Yeah. Vice
Let's see what else
TV.
we have here. Yep.
Vice TV has renewed Dark Side of the Ring for a 5th season. The current plan is to have it debut in March. All right, cool. It's always I've always liked this series. But what else? What have they not covered? Is there something that they haven't covered yet?
That's a good question. They didn't announce
That's
anything,
a really
so
good
I
question.
just threw it out there.
Like, what are some like, I don't know, wrestling stories that we haven't heard on Dark Side of the Ring?
Do you think that they're, instead of concentrating, they can, on a person specifically, they can do like, you know how they did the plane ride from hell?
Yeah.
You know, like more overarching stories like that. Like,
Yeah. Incidents. Yeah.
They could probably do like the rise and fall of the NWO, you know, talk about how it got like so polluted with every single person on the roster or something like that, you know?
Yeah, I'm trying to see. People are saying China in the chat room. Chris Adams do a crazy episode about ECW. Brawl Out. Yeah, they could do one on the Brawl Out. I mean, I don't know what's
think it's
left.
too soon for that. Yeah,
No,
they
it
gotta
is.
wait for the NDAs to
With Jericho narrating it?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? You could have that. Derek in the... Yeah, Jericho's going to narrate all of them. The rise and fall of Memphis Wrestling, that would be great. That would be interesting to see.
Give it 15 years and there'll be one about Jericho.
There'll be one about... I mean, who knows what the hell that situation is either. We don't know.
Yeah.
We will
don't
in
know.
15 years on Vice TV.
Yeah, we'll find out in 15 years. Yeah, so
Well, they could, have they done like an overdose episode?
Well,
they've covered some of it.
Yeah.
Do one on FMW and the Yakuza involvement. You could do that. I mean, there's a lot of these. There's a ton of these. I'm just curious. I can't. I'm literally asking. I'm not.
One
it's not
thing,
a figure.
I could see them doing something cool, like going into the dark side of like the injuries, like maybe a whole episode on like Joey Mercury's nose or some crazy
whole
shit
episode,
like that.
30 minutes on
Yeah.
Joey Mercury's face. What
I
happened?
mean, it's 15 minutes with commercials.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens. This is 23 minutes with commercials.
Yeah.
23
Well, it
minutes.
depends.
We'll see. I'm curious about this, but all right, cool stuff. The Dark Side of the Ring, the Dave Meltzer episode. That's what I want to see. Dave goes off. He gets wild. He starts talking to the dumbbells again.
He was another one who's chiming in on all this Twitter stuff too, on this X beef.
Dude, he's been fighting with everybody too. 2 follower fights he's having.
This is all that it's become now on X. It's just people fighting with each other for no reason.
That's crazy. Jim Ross says his contract is up on Valentine's Day and he hopes that AEW will allow him to call Sting's last match.
Cool.
Stang! Mercedes Monet update.
Be careful.
Oh, I'm going to be so careful here.
Be careful right now.
Sean Ross Sapp was told by representatives of New Japan the reason she wasn't booked for Battle of the Valley or Wrestle Kingdom is that she was still injured. And I'm waiting for him to finish writing notes, apparently, because we're still writing the notes. I took that as she wasn't available for promos and builds. She's still expected to go to AEW. I still expect her to go to AEW. I haven't heard anything other than that. And this is the thing. Like, people are like, how are you so sure?
Yeah.
Well, I was told a very specific piece of that story that that would mean that she is going if she's involved in this.
Yeah.
Okay? I never said this week. I didn't say next week. I said it's soon. I don't know what soon is. Soon could be 6 weeks. Soon could be 4 weeks. It's soon. Sooner than later.
Well, folks thought by soon you meant this past week on Dynamite.
I was very clear. I never wanted to lead people on. I said it's possible. I just don't know when it could be. I would say, you know, if I'm going to give like a very safe bet, I would say between now and the pay-per-view. But I would anticipate before the pay-per-view. Okay? If I'm going to anticipate this, I'm going to say it's before the pay-per-view. But that's me filling in a blank here. But I do know a piece of information that I cannot say because I was sworn not to say. But I did, you know, I told Sean.
Yeah.
I spoke to Sean about it. And I told Sean. And I told a couple other people what I knew. And, you know, I think we're all on the same page here.
Listen, I'm going to be the contrarian.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the other side of this,
Mm-hmm.
just so we have an even playing field here. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, we're being centrists.
I think she's going to show up in the Ladies Rumble.
I would, you know what? I will bet against you there, okay? $20 bet. You want to do that? A beer,
Sure.
a drink. Let's do that.
Sure, let's do
Okay.
a drink.
Let's do a drink.
I say Ladies Rumble,
Okay.
and you say AEW.
I'm saying AEW.
This is a friendly bet, by the way.
Very friendly bet.
Do not think this is like
News based.
something to be blown up. You know, I'm just
Loser
taking the
leaves
other
the
side
show.
of
You
it.
just want to take the other side. Yeah, we just like to bet. I think she'll be great on that roster. I think she's going to be a great addition. It'll create a conversation. I'm sure the internet will be mad. They'll be angry. But who cares? This is not reality.
Yeah,
Her paycheck matters. That's what matters.
exactly.
Tyler Bate is officially added to the SmackDown roster. He returned last week, teaming up with Butch. Why can't they call him Pete Dunne?
Exactly. It's kind of weird, right? Like
It's
they
very
just call him
strange.
Pete Dunne.
He
I
was
like
Pete
that-
Dunne. He was Pete
Yeah.
Dunne, and then now he's not.
What's Tyler Bates' nickname? Big Strong Boy.
Big strong boy. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. The Rock posted this week, it's time to do things never done before in WWE. What does that mean?
Yeah. What does that mean?
He's doing a 450, dude.
What? Oh, dude. I would honestly. I don't like seeing big guys do crazy shit like that. But I would lose my mind if The Rock somehow does
Styles
like,
450?
Springboard 450 onto like Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I would go bananas. I think everybody's brain would explode.
What's the one move that The Rock would do that you would be like, you would lose your mind? Like, you can't believe that he pulled this off.
Shawn Michaels moonsault to the outside, dude.
like the delayed one, you know, when like he does when Shawn Shawn had a way of doing that. It wasn't quick. He would like kind of like float in the air for a second. He does one of those. I think all of his muscles would come off if he did that. I think they would just come right off of him.
He's perched. The guys on Roman's on the announce table. The Rock slowly climbs to the third rope. He does the Shawn Michaels where he perches there for a second, looks backwards, and then slowly and gigantically does that moonsault.
Oh, dude. Somebody said a shooting star, a Phoenix splash. Rock doing a 450 would be wild. Yeah, he just goes up like AJ and just does a 450 onto Roman.
Mm-hmm. Ricochet 630.
Ricochet, Emmanuel in our chat room goes, the Crew versus Andrew on Dark Side. Yeah, that's going to be my Dark Side. The Crew. Who named that? Did she name them the Crew? Krew, or they named themselves?
I don't know.
It's something.
You played yourself. Darby Allin coffin drop from the top turnbuckle.
Oh, I did play myself. That's what he's going to do. He's going to do a Darby Allin coffin drop. Perfect.
That would be hysterical.
Dude, I'm excited to see that match. Now, I wanted at WrestleMania a lot of speculation over where they're going to do it. Do they do it at Elimination Chamber? I would not do it at Elimination Chamber.
There's, it's funny. Like a lot of people have input on that. And it's interesting to, again, we always talk about this at this time of year. The speculation is so wonderful to see what they do.
Yeah.
And we just hope we're not let down.
Yeah.
The other side of it is, you can paint yourself into a corner, but I think Bully Ray may have said this. I'm not 100% sure. Cody ends up pinning Rock in a 3-way at Mania. That way,
Cody ends
Roman
up
never
Rock at
loses.
Mania.
Right. Roman never loses. It's okay if The Rock loses. Cody finishes his story.
But you're going based on the assumption that Cody wins the Rumble.
Right.
Right? Or maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe he qualifies somehow. I'm leaning towards Punk winning, but I mean, it's not guaranteed. I don't know. Who's going to win it. But very interesting, dude. That top tier for WWE is monstrous now.
It really is.
You got Dwayne back. You got Roman there. Lesnar possibly coming back. CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins. You got Drew now in that mix, and this is the most excited I've been for Drew in a very long time. And then you got the supporting cast of everybody else that's coming up.
Fantastic roster. It very much reminds me of like that top tier Attitude Era roster where like you could not go wrong with mixing these guys up in every main event.
No, you can't. You can't. There's not every one of those combinations. You could plug and play, and it always works. they have something very unique, and their storyline has to now sell this.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens. All right, let's go into this. WWE Raw highlights: Jinder Mahal returned, and by the way, this was the big fiasco for Tony because of his tweet. Jinder Mahal challenges Seth Rollins for the title. I think Tony marketed this as a very important match. Now, you know what would be interesting? If they make this into a very competitive match and they make you think Jinder could win it.
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't mind it. Would you mind a hot potato on this?
No, I thought, I love a foreign menace. I love a foreign heel. The Iron Sheik was a hero in my house.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that story. I've always liked it. I think Jinder winning that title came out of left field, and I thought it was very creative for WWE to do something like that.
Yeah.
It was unexpected. And you also did something interesting to people in the back, and you showed, listen, if you work hard, we'll reward you.
Right.
This dude left, came back, jacked to the gills, looked unbelievable, and created this character for himself. Is he the best wrestler? No, he doesn't need to be. It was interesting. No. It was fun to see happen, and I enjoyed it. I didn't hate it.
Same here.
Jinder Mahal challenged Seth Rollins for the title. Cody defeated Shinsuke Nakamura in a street fight, and Drew McIntyre called out CM Punk, and they had a great promo exchange. A lot of shooting was happening here. A lot of work shoot lines. Like, Drew was talking about how CM Punk would go in the back, and he would go and say, as the locker room leader, which is a story that we have all heard. But he said, you weren't a leader for me when I needed guidance, when I needed someone to guide me in my worst time. You weren't there. You weren't a leader. And I think CM Punk said something along the lines of, you followed my lead and now I'm going to follow yours. I left. Now I'm back. I'm going to win the Rumble and I'm going to win the title. Great. So that's a match, right? That's a match somewhere. Where are they doing this?
That's a match somewhere. And I also think that it's very smart playing on the histories of both men in that company, And I think that's one thing that a lot of new fans don't realize is that a lot of the top guys on this roster have such a big history with the company, like you just talked about Jinder, right? A guy who left and came back and got I loved his title run, by the way. I think us two were the only guys who really loved that Jinder title run.
The Jinder or Drew? Jinder. Yeah, we loved it. Yeah, we loved it. We loved it.
Drew was the chosen one. He left, came back, dominated NXT, came back to the main roster, dominated the main roster, was the pandemic champ. And, that it's so seamless for him to work with Punk at this stage. It makes so much sense. Maybe Elimination Chamber?
I don't know. I honestly, this is one of the few times and I said this last year because I don't like spoiling Rumble for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's my selfish thing where I don't, kind of dig and ask because I like being surprised. Like I don't know where the direction is for this. I did know where the direction was, but I think CM Punk coming back changed a lot of this, and they're modifying a lot of scenarios. I know that it's not finalized. Like nothing is final right now. Some stuff is. We know, some stuff is final, but not everything, and everything could shift here. I'm looking forward to. Okay, so now you're going to have the Drew and Punk stuff, right? They teased it somewhere. You also have the Seth Rollins stuff with Punk.
Mm-hmm.
You also have the Cody story. Cody left when Punk came to AEW.
Mm-hmm.
And that last promo that he cut, and nobody talks about this. Like that Hangman promo that caused Punk to go cuckoo, right? I found that interesting because I always thought that that Cody promo, his last promo, was more of like a shot at CM Punk.
The one where he fixes racism?
No, not the one that he fixed racism. The one after that. The racism that was during the pandemic. The one that he was in the ring, he was feuding with Sammy. He had the TNT title, and he said something along the lines of the forbidden door, but I was the one that did it before anybody else.
Yeah.
I left, I stuck it to them, I came back, and it seemed like the ladder's in the ring. That was the one. Yeah, it was a ladder in the ring promo, not the fixed racism promo. There is so much potential. Wacky match, CM Punk Nakamura. I want to see that.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Also, side note, I never knew how much I would love this Cody Rhodes Nakamura feud.
Dude, it's been so good.
Yeah.
So good. And then Dwayne. And then Dwayne's here.
Do you get a possible CM Punk Dwayne out of this at
I
some
don't
point?
know. I don't know, but that would be fascinating. But Roman, also Roman and Punk, you know, there's an unfinished story there.
Yeah.
In storyline, Punk brought them in, right?
Exactly.
Or you know, you could get a little too like you know, smart Marky, and he could talk about how he wasn't even the one that he picked. You didn't even want me. You wanted your buddy, and where is he? Fascinating.
It's very interesting. And also, like, we're also kind of forgetting about, like, the Brock Lesnar, which we mentioned last week on the show, like the Brock Lesnar situation and the Paul Heyman situation too. You know, there's been interesting things, kind of like you pick and choose like the fun stuff from the internet, you know, but one that kind of stuck with me was like, if you want to do an insane new faction, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, CM Punk.
Yeah, I mean those are all the Paul Heyman boys.
All the Paul Heyman boys.
Yeah, the Paul Heyman boys. I'm gonna skip NXT here.
Yeah, which side note is a weird thing too, because if Roman loses that title, right, and he's titleless, why not team up with Brock and Punk, right? The Paul Heyman boys.
The Paul Heyman boys. They could do like a West Side Story type gang.
Oh yeah, I love that.
All right, Royal Rumble report per David Meltzer. The title match was originally supposed to be Orton and Reigns, which a couple other people reported too, but it was changed into a 4-way to avoid pinning Orton.
Okay.
So did you watch that main event from SmackDown last week? Okay. I thought it was great. That 450 that Styles hit, right, onto LA Knight.
Yeah.
He started bleeding everywhere.
Oh my God.
And it seems like what happened, his like arm landed on him somehow. And I think something just cut his head, but he cut his head deep, whatever it was. But they did not shy away from the blood. They let it play out. No. And it looked gnarly.
It looked really gnarly. I want to say, if we go back and watch it, I want to say his knee pad clipped his forehead.
Something clipped his forehead, yeah. Something. I think his knee pad or his elbow pad, something. But I found it fascinating because so he starts bleeding and he starts, doing one of these. And I'm like, oh, maybe he wants to get a little bit more out, So like he's doing this, he's doing this, he's doing this. He rolls to the outside, comes up, and he's just covered in blood. Camera did not shy away. They kept it on him. They told the story. And man, guess what? It looked great. It heightened that moment with Roman coming out and demolishing everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Loved it. Loved it. Rey Mysterio is hopeful to be back. Yep,
I'm
here
sorry
we go.
Yes,
yes, you are interrupting.
They have since
what's happening?
Have since black and whited everything on the site.
Yeah, whatever. They'll eventually get rid of that too. Rey Mysterio is hopeful to be back in time for the Royal Rumble. Here's a Royal Rumble lineup so far. Declared for the Men's Rumble is Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Bobby Lashley. Oh, that was the other thing we saw on SmackDown. AOP's back.
Yes.
With Paul Ellering.
Yep.
And they've teamed up with Scarlett and Karrion Kross. So there's another stable. There's another spooky stable.
I am very cool with that stable.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Women's Royal Rumble declared Bayley, Nia Jax, Becky Lynch, and Bianca Belair. Undisputed Universal Championship Roman Reigns defends against Randy Orton, LA Knight, AJ Styles, and a fatal 4-way. Logan Paul takes on Kevin Owens. So this is shaping up to be a lot of fun. Let's talk about Dynamite. What? Who wins the Rumble?
I said it's shaping up to be a really good Rumble.
Yeah. Dynamite. Let's go into this, Rich.
Hangman Adam Page defeated Claudio Castagnoli. Great opener for the show.
And it went long.
This is the Hangman I've wanted since New Japan. Like real angry. And just getting in everybody's face, fantastic match. Then you had the AEW International Champion Orange Cassidy, Adam Copeland, and Dustin Rhodes and Preston Vance defeating Lance Archer with Jake Roberts. It was nice to see him on TV again. Brian Cage, Toa Leona, and Bishop Khan with Prince Nana.
Fun match.
Fun match, yeah.
Yeah. Preston Vance got the pin. Obviously, he was part of the Dark Order. This also was a almost of a tribute show to Brody Lee. Preston Vance got the pin there. Samoa Joe comes out, addresses Daly's place. He does have a new title belt.
Yes.
It's not the one that was circulating on the internet. It also, I don't believe this is the one because was that center plate? Does anybody have a picture? That center plate was still the old logo, right? With like the bar wire almost.
It almost is like it's just restrapped. Like they just put the plates on the old black strap.
Yeah, but you know what I mean by this? Like the title that he came out with. Yeah, it is the old one, and there was like something wrong with that center plate. So I don't believe this is the final one.
Yeah.
This is not. They've had the title since April, okay? As far as I know. Whatever this new title is, they've had it for a long time. I was told that the center plate was updated to match their new logo. I think a lot of people don't realize that there's the AEW logo changed from the barbed wire one, is that barbed wire? What is that? Cracks? Right?
Distress.
It's this. No, there's
Yeah.
I think there is barbed wire on it. I don't believe this is the one. So maybe they're revising it. Maybe the leaked images were overwhelming for them because a lot of people did not like it. Obviously, there's side plates now with your, whoever the champion is, which I think that's a nice addition. But I expect that center plate to change because they have a new logo.
Just checking in. It's not barbed wire, but it's like a marble type.
Marbled.
Yeah.
Marbled. Yeah. So I don't know when or if they're going to change this. I believe they will because it's a whole different logo now. So eventually they will. But he did get a new belt. He came out there. He addressed the fans. He said there are some new rules. No more whining about getting title shots. And Swerve Strickland comes out.
Yeah.
Which I've been saying. He's the man for the year. And then comes out Adam Page. And they both lay out their claim. Then the Hook signal appears above the ring. Like Batman. And Hook comes out. And tells him to get ready for next week. And sets up the title match. All right, look. Everybody's gunning for the title. We're continuing this. Same as
I'm cool with
MJF,
that.
right? I kind of like that, though, right? Like, it's not one person. It's like, hey, I want my shot. I want my shot. Everybody wants that title.
Oh, everybody's got a good story going into it, too. And, how great was Proud Papa Taz on commentary?
My boy.
My boy.
It's my boy.
But yeah, great segment. I like that Joe's a fighting champion. It works. And also, if he holds that belt until MJF comes back, you have that whole thing. It's a good title picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Believable title picture, where I feel like WWE does that thing where they paint themselves into a corner like Roman or Brock, right? At one time. AEW does it a little different where it's like it's anybody's ball game, which I think is it's a cool little testament to how they book stuff sometimes.
Yeah. So I'm excited for this. This is going to look good. Renee Paquette is backstage with Tony Storm, Luther, and Mariah May. Tony is absolutely perfect. I love this character. I love everything that Tony's doing. Her promo was great. She stole our line about mispronouncing Deanna Purrazzo's name over and over again. Rich and I do that all the time. Like, this is like our joke. I'm like, Deanna Purrazzo, Diane Pazizio.
Very good. Wendy Richter.
Yeah, and then Tony did a shout out to Wendy Richter because this did she first start the Wendy Richter stuff in the Scrum?
I think so.
Yes, that's where it
For
began.
people who don't know why she was looking for Wendy Richter, somebody said something about like someone challenging for a title, and she goes Wendy, and then she's like, Wendy Richter, I'm gonna fuck you up in the Scrum randomly. So I thought that was fun.
She was alluding to the Mercedes free agency. She said, "We all know there's a big free agent out there," and then she looked up at the camera and said that line.
Yeah,
Wendy Richter. Yeah. Mariah asked if she saw her match. She said, no, darling, but here, have a chocolate or something like that. She tells Luther to set up a match with Donna Palazzo. which I love. Hysterical. Great stuff. I actually very much, it's amazing, right? Like one, just sometimes, like imagine this on paper, right? Like RJ's pitching this or whatever, right? Because this is RJ's fingerprints all over this freaking thing. The Stardies line, I messaged RJ. I'm like, that was you, right? He goes, who else would it be? I was like, listen, I love having a martini at Sardi's. That's like a regular stop for me and Rich and a bunch of people that we know. I love getting drunk with the old broads there. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
like
yeah,
the old
absolutely.
theater broads. Like they've been going.
Yeah.
It is a New York institution, right?
Yeah.
You sit at Sardi's and like, that's where you go. If you're going to Broadway, you have a martini at Sardi's. And
Front bar.
There's always like those 75-year-old theater women that are like New York OGs, and they'll tell you Rock Hudson used to sit next to me. They're like going on about like all these old actors. Very cool. Where are we? Sammy Guevara defeated Ricky Starks. Afterwards, they shook hands until Big Bill attacked Sammy, and New Jack came out. I mean, Jericho came out and did his best New Jack while his music played, and they brawled. Cool.
Great.
Thunder Rosa, Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale, and Anna Jay versus the TBS champion Julia Hart, Sky Blue, Saraya, and Ruby Soho.
Cool.
I believe Anna Jay got the pin here. Again, due to Brody, because they were honoring him.
Big fan of Harley Cameron.
Yeah, Harley Cameron's good.
Yeah.
Roderick Strong defeated Brian Keith. How could they do that to Brian Keith?
That was a fun match.
Yeah. I'm into him, dude. I'm into Brian Keith. That's my new favorite guy. You want my top prospect of the year? Brian Keith. He's my new favorite. Like Danhausen? Like he's now taken over Danhausen for me.
Yeah.
And I love the Danhausen, but Brian Keith, who doesn't love a cowboy?
That's true. He's a bounty hunter.
He's a bounty hunter. Bang, bang. Sting and Darby Allin with Ric Flair defeated Powerhouse Hobbs and Takeshita in a tornado tag match. This was bonkers.
Yeah, so good. So good.
Sting did a scorpion death drop on Powerhouse Hobbs from the stage onto tables. After the match, Tony Schiavone came into the ring to ask Sting who his last match is going to be with, and here come the Young Bucks, dressed in their Italian mustachio best.
Spy versus Spy right there. They did the black and white gimmick.
They did the black and white Spy versus Spy.
Now, let me ask you.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this? Because it looks like the Sting's last match could be Sting and Darby versus the Bucks.
That's what it's going to be, yeah. That's what it seems like it's going to be. But I think Sting wanted that.
That's what's come out, right? Like, he was like, oh, I've never really worked with these guys. I want to go out, facing like a young guy.
Yeah.
I do selfishly want him to go out in a single, but I feel like that doesn't make any sense at this point, right?
Yeah, but he hasn't done a single, he doesn't feel confident doing a single. I understand that. It was always going to be a tag match. The Young Bucks are really good at getting heat. They're very easy to dislike. They're going to be in Greensboro, right? Is that where it is? Greensboro,
yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be tremendous for him. And I'm fine with it. If people are happy, I'm fine with it. I didn't really have like a specific, like, who are you going to bring to face Sting, right? Like, who makes sense? Like, it's not going to be Ricky Steamboat. It's not going to be Flair. Those or Muda. Those guys are done. Yeah. So you really don't have too many people to pick from the past years. So and you also need people that are going to be able to lead this match.
Right.
I would have loved something else, but this is fine. It's okay. I'm okay with it.
I think you're going to get some kind of like, obviously some kind of like extension of this match where this should go on for quite some time, where like maybe they give him like the Liger treatment next time on Dynamite, big tribute from everybody. Do you think immediately in my head, do you think the Bucks both do the I'm sorry, I love you spot?
Oh my God. They do it to Flair.
They do it to Flair and they do it to Sting.
Well, no,
so
the one I heard is that they do it and he no-sells it. And
he does. He does that he's done that with they've actually worked together. Yeah, the Bucks did that to him, and he did the Sting up. But I would love for them to do the I'm sorry, I love you to Flair.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Oh man, I got goosebumps there, Rich.
There
You
you
just
go.
wrote it.
There you go.
I got to text that to somebody over there. That's
There you go.
great.
Send it-
I didn't.
send
I
it
think
away.
they already know.
I
I
didn't
think they
even
know
think
that
of it.
spot needs to happen.
I didn't even think of it. I'm sure they do. I didn't even think of it. This is why Rich is the smartest and cutest boy in professional wrestling podcasting. Collision.
There we
Let's
go.
go into this.
Get that post back.
It's a
Rich. Put that post
3-hour
back.
collision. Ooh, I have a. Ooh, there it is. There it is. I have a little
Yeah.
scoop ski.
Sure.
As we know, it's going to be a 3-hour collision. What is
This
that?
Saturday.
Bombs are blowing off. Who's launching missiles?
That's me.
Is that you?
It's me. I'm in the bunker. I hit
You're
the
in
wrong button.
You hear it though, right?
Yeah.
So it's a 3-hour show. It's Collision and Battle of the Belts this week. I believe in March we are also getting a 3-hour Wednesday show with a combo of Collision and combo of Dynamite and Rampage.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I don't have. I actually do have the date. I don't have it on me. I got to pull it up. But we're probably going to get that in March. I think it has something to do with March Madness.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. AEW Collision this Saturday. Adam Copeland Open Challenge. Diane Pazuzio versus Red Velvet. Hangman Page returns to Norfolk. Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony defend the ROH Tag Team titles against Lance Archer and the Righteous. AEW
Cool.
Battle of the Belts. Ricky Starks and Big Bill defend the titles against Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara in a street fight. Julia Hart defends a TBS title against Anna Jay. So far for Dynamite, obviously we have the Suicide Squad match. Again, I have no idea what the hell that means.
Mm-hmm.
Samoa Joe defends the AEW World Championship against the FTW champion Hook.
There we go.
Yeah, we got TNA Hard to Kill this weekend. This is the first TNA pay-per-view back. A lot of people excited. It's going to be a good house there in the Palms Hotel, whatever they call it. TNA World Champion Alex Shelley defends against Moose. Knockout Champion Trinity defends against Jordan Grace. This may be Trinity's last match there, so most likely she's dropping it. Chris Sabin, three-way X Division Championship. Chris Sabin defends against Kushida, El Hijo, Hijo del Vikingo.
Oh, take it easy, Karen. El Hijo.
Como estás? Muy bien. Y tú?
You say you're one of those guys that says quesadilla, aren't you?
I love. I say quesadillas. Ironically, I've said that for years, and now it's become part of my vocabulary. There was this woman that I worked with years ago, and she would only call it quesadillas.
Mm-hmm.
She wouldn't call it a quesadilla. And it became so part of my vernacular to say quesadilla because I was mocking her. Now I just call it a quesadilla because it's funny.
Quesadilla.
4-way match. TNA Tag Team Champions Austin Ace and Chris Bay defend against the Rascals, the Grizzled Young Vets, and Speedball Mike Bailey and Trent Seven. Knockouts Ultimate X match. Shaw versus Brookside versus Brookside versus Jody Threat, Tasha Steeles, Edwards, and Diane Luna.
Danny Luna.
Danny Luna. Too many names in front of me. Josh Alexander, Alex Hammerstone. Alex Hammerstone is now in TNA. Here's what they do.
One.
Dirty Dingo versus PCO. Great name, Dirty Dingo.
Dango.
And Rich Swann. What's the pre-show?
Rich Swann versus Steve Macklin. Eric Young and Frankie Kazarian versus Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards. And another pre-show match, you have the digital media champion Tommy Dreamer defends against Crazy Steve.
You also have Battle in the Valley on Saturday at 10 p.m. Okada, Will Ospreay. Look at this freaking lineup, dude.
I know.
Okada, Ospreay. No DQ match. Moxley, Shingo.
Awesome.
AEW Continental Crown match. Eddie Kingston versus Gabe Kidd. Matt Riddle and a mystery partner versus Zack Sabre Jr. and Bad Dude Tita. I believe Jeff Cobb is the mystery partner.
Cool.
I believe. I'm guessing. I could be wrong, but I'm guessing. because I think they wanted to team them up in Japan before Riddle went to WWE. New Japan Strong Women's Champion Julia defends against Trish Adora. Curious to see if Julia wins or loses. Yeah, it's going to be very telling what she does. Strong Openweight Tag Team Champions Hikuleo and El Phantasmo defend against Clark Connors and Alex Coughlin. Dave Finlay versus TJP. Volador Jr. Mascara Dorado versus Rocky Romero and Soberano Jr. Shota Umino, Fred Rosser, Jacob Fatu versus Tom Lawler and his Dirty Boys. And I believe that was it.
Yeah.
All right. Mat Men Awards closing tomorrow. Get your vote in. We're also doing our year-end show and our Mat Men Award show and our prediction show coming up all next week. That'll be available. Anything else, MG, that I need to touch on before we go into Q&A?
You got it all. I'm going to put that link in the chat so people can do it if they haven't already and start questions.
Cool. All right.
Great.
Q&A time, boys and girls.
Let's see. We got a quick one up front over here. This is from Mac. Why was MG digging tunnels in New York?
Dude, why does he dig tunnels ever?
He had 2 beers in him.
Can I ask a question? I have a bunch of people asking if Royal Rumble's coming to MSG in 2025. Why am I getting? I'm getting a bunch of these now. Why? Where did that come from?
I haven't heard anything.
I would imagine they want to run a giant stadium.
Yeah.
And not the Garden.
I would prefer the Garden.
I would, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, how can I not prefer the Garden? I would love that.
I would 100% prefer the Garden than going out to Giant Stadium, which I hate. No offense to Giant Stadium.
Yuck. No, I would not want to go there. Yuck.
Nope.
The Meadowlands is a pain in the ass. Let's go. Question time.
All right. This is from Tyler D. My babies, where was Christian Cage on Man of the Year? I thought he could have had more love on the voting list. Love you, mean it. Chef's kiss.
Yeah. Why was he missing?
Because I think he was late. It was late in the year. That's my only.
Yeah, I don't know. He's fantastic. I love him.
That's all I have.
Yeah, best run of his career.
What he's doing now is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. This is from Glassdoor Gamer. If when WBD re-signs AEW, what do you think the package looks like? And can you guess what the rights fee would be?
I don't know.
Still rates well on cable.
Yeah, I don't think it's the billion. I don't know what the rights fee is going to be. I still anticipate they're staying with WBD. A lot has changed with this Peacock merger. Also, we will not hear anything until NBA rights are settled. So, Sam Stackhouse is in our chat room, and he says, I had the best match of my life with Brian Keith.
Fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic. I don't know. I have no idea when they're announcing it. I was told it was going to be, the Max stuff was going to be settled for Q1. I know something was offered. I know people agreed on a lot of the stuff that was offered. Give me a couple of weeks and I'll talk about why I think the Max stuff is delayed. Give me like a week or two.
Cool.
But I still anticipate it's all happening. Listen, there's no place else. Like, they have to go to Max. They have to, because BR is a dead platform. It's an unsupported platform at this point. So they're going to have to go there. I think it really comes down to bundling everything together. We'll talk about that in a week or two when I'm comfortable talking about it. But I do think they will stay unless something traumatic happens.
Okay. Next up.
Yeah.
This is from Jay Haler in response to you getting mad in real life. $5. Thank you very much. Only 1 day away from spine busting someone in a Denny's parking lot.
I'm 1 day away. I'm 1 day away.
1 day away. Just 1 day away from, like, it's going to be like that movie Falling Down. You're just going to abandon your car on the highway and just go absolutely apeshit.
When does Tony pull the, remember that, what is it, Coney 2012? Remember the guy? That went bonkers and he stripped naked in San Francisco and started screaming on the street. When does Tony do that?
I think he keeps it together, man.
You think so? I think he's come close. I think he's coming close to that. I'm a day away every day from that.
Oh yeah, yeah. All right, this is from Glassdoor Gamer. Triple H China Stephanie scandal, Dark Side.
I don't think they'll do it. I don't think they'll do it. I think they'll tiptoe around it. But a China one would be great, and I think they'll tiptoe around the Stephanie McMahon stuff with that.
Yeah.
They want to be on good terms with everybody.
This is from Paul Anthony Moss. Does AEW plan on using EJ and Duca anytime soon?
I don't know. Good question. He there? He was in MLW.
Good look.
Yeah, great look. Great body.
Good look on him.
Yeah, he's there.
Let's see.
Yeah, they just got to figure something out for him. Great body. Good look, great body. I think utilize him.
This is from Kid Dulting. This is a good question. What historic character, dead or alive, would Andrew like to fight most?
Oh.
Like, are we talking like a Huck
That's a
Finn?
great question.
Like, are you trying to beat up Huck Finn? Or like Sherlock Holmes or some shit?
Yeah, like historic character. Who would I want to? Yeah, give me one. Who would I want to fight?
Ben Franklin.
You know, Ben Franklin is what came to my mind.
Really?
Yeah.
I know you're a big fan of electricity.
You didn't hold up a kite and get electrocuted by it, dude. What are you lying about?
Oh, I'm super.
Now, Anne Franklin.
Franklin.
Anne Franklin. That's
Who's
the
Anne
one.
Franklin?
You missed the joke.
Ooh,
you missed it.
Never mind. No.
Oh, okay.
You missed that. Were you not there for that?
No.
A certain friend of ours asked if Anne Franklin was the girl that hid away in Germany from the Nazis.
Uh-huh.
And I said, who? He goes, Anne Franklin. Didn't she hide in the Underground Railroad? And I said, I think that's Harriet Tubman, and I think the person you're asking about is Anne Frank.
Was this a certain Simeon obsessed friend of ours?
Yes.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. And I hit my head against the wall. What historic figure would I want to fight, dead or alive? Historic character? I don't know.
Tom Sawyer. Dracula.
Yeah, fuck Tom Sawyer.
I was going to say it has to be Dracula, right?
It's got to be Dracula. We got to fight Dracula.
You know what? I'd love to fight a Dracula. Love to fight Dracula. That's a good one.
The Dracula.
The Dracula.
A Dracula
yeah.
or the Dracula. Like, you could fight Lestat if you want.
Well, which Dracula are we fighting? Are we fighting this guy? Are we fighting like Bela Lugosi Dracula? Or are we fighting like Interview with a Vampire Dracula?
I'm saying classic
Bela
Bram
Lugosi.
Stoker novel Dracula. Like,
yeah.
like Gary Oldman Dracula.
Oh, yeah. I'm into that. That's who I want. Yeah. Slick back hair. Love it. Love it.
What would you wear?
Got here.
I would dress up like a Dracula as well.
Okay.
The Battle of the Draculas.
Yeah.
This is from Glassdoor Gamer. Who gets the international TNT title next?
I don't know. I think they've done a really good job with Orange, but what is that title? Right? Like, what is that title? Is it your IC title? Is it a cruiserweight title? What is that title?
I think it's their European title.
It's a European title. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it the workers title? The TNT title is now. You have obviously Edge and Christian fighting for that TNT title, which is so bizarre.
Right.
But
I think that's the IC belt.
Is that the IC belt? I guess so. That's the TV title. However you're going to treat it. I don't know who's Orange going to be in a big program with. I think you could elevate somebody big with that.
Well, they're teasing Roddy. Roddy Strong is.
Roddy would be a great international champion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. TNT title, I think Adam should get it. Adam Coleman. They got too many Adams there, by the way. Vince McMahon would never allow that. Adam Page, Adam Cole, Adam Copeland, Adam.
Way too many.
Cole, Adam Cole, Adam Page,
22.
Adam 22.
I got a question.
Yeah.
This is from our buddy Alex. He texted in.
Oh.
He goes,
Tigani's Alex.
The Rock,
Yeah.
The Rock, the actor, has famously had stipulations about how his movie fights play out. Now that The Rock is back, do you think that bleeds over to the in-ring?
Yeah, because he's The Rock controls every aspect of his presentation, so I would imagine. I love Alex. He's the best.
I got a question.
10 out of 10.
I love Alex too. I got a question to bounce off of Alex.
Yeah.
Does WrestleMania end with a $7 production tagline?
I think it
Oh,
should.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think if he wins that title, it should.
But do you think they get into the minutia of it where Rock is like, okay, over here you're gonna throw 3 punches, and I'm gonna throw 4 punches. You're gonna drop a leg here, and I'm gonna do my moonsault here.
I don't know. You know, I think he's going to be very careful to protect his cousin, because that's a lineage of that family. That's a dynasty, right? And obviously, Dwayne's not going to be there, and Roman is. So you need to create that established guy. I think this is going to be the same as like a Hogan moment. You know, he's going to do the old man handshake and call it a day.
You think so? I don't know, man. This guy's like jacked to the gills. You think he's really going to be hunched over, like, oh, you got one over on me?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Hogan did it.
And then after that, but the interesting thing about that Hogan thing, though, is like that could have been his last match, and everybody would have been super happy about it.
That could have been, that could have been his last match, and everybody would have been freaking thrilled. But he did have some decent stuff after that. I didn't hate the Hogan run. I ate that up. Him as world champion, I ate that up. He lost the title with a bear hug.
Yep.
Right? He lost
it to Brock Lesnar, right?
Did he lose it? Was it Brock he lost? He beat Hunter for it. Or was it Taker? Did he lose it to Taker?
Also full-blown yellow and red back. Like Mustard and Ketchup made a return right after that Rock match.
Do you know when he used the first time? Here's a little piece of trivia. When was the return for the I Am a Real American theme for Hogan? Because remember, he was still using Hendrix. Great trivia question.
That is a really good question. SummerSlam 2006?
No.
It was right before Mania that year, right?
No. It was a random SmackDown. It was a 4th of July episode, and he tag teamed with Edge.
With Edge. Yes.
Didn't they win the tag titles?
And they won the titles, yes.
And they won the titles, yeah. Oh, I just unlocked a lost memory.
Oh, same here. Like, and you know what I always found so fascinating about that weird like Hogan run, like Hogan 2.0 or 3.0 actually, when he went full yellow and red again. At the end of every show, it was a 10-minute pose down with whoever he was teaming with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do the ear thing.
That's it.
Biceps. It's hysterical.
The ear thing is the best. It's such an asshole thing to do, too, you know, when he does that.
I did it before Cal Burnett, brother. It was me first, brother. Let's see. This is from Ali Khan. So with Dave Meltzer reporting that Roman Reigns is not even scheduled for Elimination Chamber, what percentage do you give Cody finishing his story at WrestleMania 40?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what they do. You have to do Dwayne. You have to. I listen. I want Cody to win, but you talk about business. Like, it's not about me watching a 5-star wrestling match. It's about what's going to get the most attention on Sports Center and whatever the hell they're going to talk about. Mm-hmm. The Rock and his cousin in the main event of a huge WrestleMania would be everywhere.
Yeah.
So, you got to do it. And I'm sorry. I know a lot of people want the story to finish. I know people want like they want a different match, but it's not the smart business decision. But also you need to think about protecting that character. So I don't know what you do with Cody. All right, we could go another 10 minutes. I'm good with that.
Yeah, we got a couple more questions in here. It's hot. The questions are hot today. Let's see. We got a few more. We got another super chat here from Kermac. Will we see Velveteen Dream back in WWE? I'm going to say I'd be very surprised if they pull the trigger on that. I don't think they need the guy.
Yeah, I would be very surprised. What a fool that guy was. Patrick Clark, what a dummy.
Yeah.
What a dummy. He had it all. He had it in his hands.
Mm-hmm.
Great character. Deep character. The androgynous story was, he was great. He worked. It worked. People were into him. The androgynous character worked. And it was done well.
Yep.
It wasn't done in an offensive manner. It was done really well. I loved it. I thought it was a great character, the Velveteen Dream character. Fantastic. He came out dressed like Hogan. He did all of it, and it was so tongue-in-cheek. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him at Evolve. I saw him wrestle at Evolve.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is from Ali Gamal. Any update on Jack Perry?
No, but there was an update on that fight, apparently. Somebody that was part of Swerve's entrance was there. And
yeah,
he said how like it was a bloody mess back there. So what the fuck did Punk do?
Wasn't the report, not the report, but I forgot the guy's name, but I think he was performing.
DJ
right?
Woo Kid.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, Punk, like I just beat the shit out of this guy, and then Tony Khan's yelling at him like, hey, your match is starting, you got to get out there like right now.
Yeah, he said a big giant Hawaiian dude was screaming at everybody. And I assume he was talking about Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe, that's right.
How Joe like went berserk back there, and he kind of like settled. Listen, when Samoa Joe's yelling like that, like you don't want to be in that way. This guy's been involved in a lot of locker rooms, and he's seen the worst of the worst. And this guy's legitimately a tough dude. He's not like a bullshit character on TV. He's a legitimate tough guy.
Huntington Beach.
Yeah.
We got a good question from Shin, friend of the show. What's up, Shin? Y'all like the fantasy book. What's Cody's first post-Roman feud after he wins the title? Also, happy birthday, Shin. I know it was last week.
Happy birthday, Shin.
What's Cody's first post-Roman feud after he wins the title?
Roman's post feud?
Cody's first post-Roman feud if he wins the title.
Punk.
That'd be cool.
I don't think he can, actually. Yeah, you got to wait on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Gunther. Gunther drops the IC belt, and or Gunther goes in there and feuds with him. I could see them doing something like that and elevating him.
Okay.
I wouldn't be against that.
This is from Lo-Fi Lit. Should Joe Coy host the WrestleMania 40?
I think that's great. Yes.
I think that's funny. Did you see the Golden Globes?
I did see the Golden Globes. Yeah, I watched pieces of it. It was terrible.
I don't think he took a big a shit as everybody thought he did. You know, tough crowd.
Yeah.
Here's a good one from CJ Angry. If Brock is not the match for Gunther at Mania, any chance they call up Dragunov and let them put on a banger if he drops the title to Trick at Vengeance Day?
If Brock is not the match for Gunther at Mania, any chance they call up Dragunov and let them put... maybe. I don't know anything about the NXT plans. I haven't even been following it, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. This is from Pro Wrestling Joe. Do you know if the library is part of the bundle for AEW WBD?
Do you know if the library is part of the bundle? I would imagine you would want to put something on there. But what library are you talking about? Are you talking about ROH? I don't know. I don't think so. But if you're talking AEW, yeah, it would have to be. You would need... I'm sure Tony is working... You know, listen, he has a lot of things moving, right? You got to talk about next day's rights. You got to talk about your archived and how you're going to do that. Is Max going to be the place to go for the following day? Your pay-per-views, all of it. There's so many moving parts here on top of getting a good TV deal.
Okay. Next one. And we'll do one more, and then we got to go. This is from Jack Witt. This is a good one. We got two more. This is number one. Have you ever heard why Tony values having as many titles as he does?
I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. I have no idea. Is it too many? Yeah, I think so. But you have your look, you got your US title, you got your IC title, you got your tag titles, you got a 6-man, you have like all your versions there. I think the problem is
consolidated 3 of them too, just recently.
You consolidated 3 of them, but I also think that they have the Ring of Honor thing, and that kind of makes it look like there's even more. Is there a lot of titles? Sure.
Yeah.
What does it mean? Does it impact anything? Nah, I don't know. Listen, New Japan has 80,000 titles too.
Yes. Yes, they do.
And so does WWE. WWE has a bunch of titles too.
New Japan has made more titles too in the last 2 years.
Oh, tons.
Yeah.
Tons. So there's a whole bunch.
This is a good one. This is a good last question. This is from Ali Khan, Super Chat. Thank you very much. Raw to Amazon. Thoughts?
I went into detail on the business side of stuff on We're Live, Pal. I don't know. Rich doesn't know that show.
Yeah, who?
Who? I think the synergy between the two. We're at the end of the show. I can't go into the detail of it, but I do think that synergy between Amazon and WWE could work. Paying the big bucks for a TV rights deal for $400 million or whatever the TV rights is, that's a loss leader in the world of sports. The reason why you're willing to pay so much is that you try to recoup some of the advertising costs, but it's a great lead-in to whatever is on afterwards that you could sell ads for also. You build your following like that. Amazon has a very unique opportunity to do live injectable ads during the show. So Raw's on, CM Punk comes out with a shirt. Guess what? There could be a little button on the side of your TV that says buy now. Have it tomorrow. That's how, they have these unique ways that they could capitalize. I don't know. I read that article. It was more speculative than anything else. I still think FX is in the mix to go to them. I'm totally in the dark. If WBD and WWE are serious, I'm in the dark here. I'm in the dark. I've said this from day one. Maybe somebody else has more information on it. As far as I know, and this was months ago, the last conversation I had was that it's more likely that AEW is going there, but a lot could change.
Yeah.
A ton could change, so I don't know.
Stuff is always up in the air.
It's always up in the air, and this is business, and necessarily, you don't... I think when it's a high-level talk like this, it's not going to come down until they're ready to talk about something. So whatever conversation they've had, whether or not it was a one-off or it's a serious conversation, it's so at the top tier that people don't know. Nothing is trickled down. Does that help? Okay.
That helps. Do you want to do just like we got another super chat here? Glassdoor Gamer John Arand has been spot on thus far.
Yeah, John knows what he's talking about. No, I'm not taking anything away from him. He's fantastic. I just don't know. I think it's very possible, and I think that would be a very unique look at things. You're going to sacrifice your audience for the money and to build Amazon. And Amazon has made some changes to their app. They're changing a lot of things. Having, Thursday Night Football kind of changed everything. We saw that the numbers were much lower than linear TV, but yeah, I don't think it mattered to them. And here's the other thing, right? Like, let's say Raw gets 1.5 million. Let's just say that's a flat number here. If they get 1.2 million or they get 1 million, right? But it's the demo that they want. It's not going to impact business,
right? And
they're going to look at it and say, like, look how we were able to go. My father's never going to be able to watch Monday Night Raw again.
Right.
There's going to be a portion of the audience that will never be able to watch it because it's not in their pattern. People patterns matter, and it's not in their pattern to put on Amazon. They want to watch it on cable. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
The habit. Force a habit.
Yeah, force a habit. All right.
Are we done or you got one
We
more?
are done. No, I got to run.
All right.
I got to run. Thank you, everybody. This was a blast. Love each and every one of you, and we'll be back next week with another episode of Madman. Bye-bye.